right. All right, friends. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make a fidget spinner using this Sodalite marble. It is roughly 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Also, in order to do this project, I will be using a 4mm facet, as well as 6 pieces of 20-inch 22 gauge round wire, 4 pieces of 9-inch 21 gauge square wire, 1 piece of 5-inch half round wire, 20 gauge half round wire, and then 1 10-inch piece of 20 gauge half round wire. Hey Sean, hey MJ, hey Barbie, how are y'all doing? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab those 4 9-inch pieces of square wire. These don't have to be square. It does help when you do your ribbon setting bail, but you don't have to do a ribbon setting bail, and you can still do that bail with round wire. So square is not 100% necessary. So after straightening those 4 wires, I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 of my 20-inch 22 gauge wires, and I'm going to fold them in half like this, and I'm going to go over, actually I should probably get the perimeter of my stone first, so let's go ahead and do that first and foremost. So what I usually like to do when it comes to like a very well, any round object, honestly, the easiest way I have found to get your perimeter is to take a piece of scrap wire and find an object that's around the same size, especially for like a sphere, and just go around that object with your wire, and then you can make sure it is centered like that, and then you'll just go in, and where the wires match up you can cut it, and that'll give you the exact circumference of your stone. Yes, MJ, this will be available to watch after the live. That's correct. Yep. All right, so now I know exactly how long I need this section of wire to be. It might need to be slightly longer, but we're going to aim for this at first. And the reason it would need to be slightly longer is the weave that we'll be doing is going to add just some thickness on the inside of the perimeter, which is basically going to take up more room. Okay, so we now know our perimeter length. I'm going to take those 9-inch pieces of wire for our base wire, and I'm going to take my perimeter wire and just kind of see where it lines up if I center it. Alright, so it looks like, hey Lorraine! I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. It looks like if I put this centered, my weave needs to start right about here, roughly. So I'm just going to kind of take a mental note of that, and that's where we'll start our weave. I'm going to take those 3 just going to zoom out just a little bit. Those 3 22 gauge wires, and I'm going to wrap around one full rotation. And then keeping our base wires as parallel as possible. I'm just going to straighten those out. And then I'll take my flat nose pliers and just kind of crunch those down. Flip it over. I'm just making some minor adjustments so that I can try and get these as close as possible. All right. Now we're going to introduce our second set of 22 gauge wires, just like we did with the first set. We're going to take all three of them, bend them in half, and you just want to make sure they lay the exact same way as the first set. So usually what I like to do, sorry I keep shaking my camera guys, is line it up with the first one so that I know that I'm rotating them in the right direction. And I'm going to send that around. And same thing, we're just going to make it nice and tight. It's a lot of wire, so I'm sorry I pull off camera so often. It's just I only have so much room. And I gotta get my positioning the way I'd like. All right, so that's good for now. As you can see, they are laying the exact same way. The wires on the left are going up and the wires on the right are going down. You don't want to flip-flop them. So if for some reason this section was going up and this section was going down, we would want to make sure we fix that. They just need to all go in the same direction. These need to be identical. Okay, so now I'm going to flip my work over. I'm going to make sure I'm starting where I had initially established. I used my finger to kind of measure that out. Let's see. Roughly right here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my, since I'm weaving to my right, I'm going to start by grabbing my leftmost section of wire, which is going to be this section right here. And I'm going to pull this section up just a little bit so that I can do the deco rainbow. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. Unlike the deco weave, we do want a little bit of space here. We're going to fold that back over in on itself. Use our flat nose pliers to squoosh that down, and then you're going to push all of this together. And then I have found that this looks a lot cleaner if at this point you kind of just grab both sections and pull straight down. Then we're going to go to the top. We're going to do the same thing as we did on the bottom. We're going to pull that right piece just a little bit forward, and we're going to take the leftmost piece and we're going to bend around, trying to make sure that it's the same width as the other side. Fold over and then flatten. Make sure I'm still where I'm supposed to be. I can still scooch my weave. Okay. And then the same thing, you're gonna kind of lift that rightmost piece up, and you're just gonna alternate back and forth between the top and the bottom, continuing that same process. Sorry I keep hitting the camera, guys. How are you, Stephanie? Sorry I didn't say hello earlier. I was occupied. Or I did say hello and I didn't realize I said hello because I was on autopilot. But hey, how are you? Hey Nathan, how are you today? Thanks for being here. I think that's actually a little more loose than I'd like it to be. Let's see if I can tighten it just slightly. Okay, thank you. Glad to see you doing this wrap. Of course. I told you guys I'd do it in a tutorial eventually. I honestly didn't think I'd be doing this one this quickly, but here we are. Fidget spinners were the first wrap I learned from you. I love this variation. Oh, thank you. I should do a tutorial on the original one. I'm happy to be just in time to see this. Yeah! Well, I'm glad you're here. You guys, can we get hearts in the comments for Renz? This is the person who actually purchased this pendant that I'm making right now. And yeah, if it were not for them, we wouldn't have this tutorial so soon. So please show love in the chat if you don't mind, because they basically sponsored this tutorial. I'm proud owner of one you made too. Remember the glow-in-the-dark marbles? Oh, do I? I've got some right over here. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. I keep forgetting that on YouTube, if you tap the screen, it gives hearts, but I can't see the hearts when you just tap the screen. So I always forget to like clarify to put heart emojis in the comments section. Can't wait to get my pendant. Yeah! So the original one that I did for this, which is actually the photo of this in like the main, like the thumbnail for this video, it only has 3 base wires. So this is possible with 3 base wires. I did make the executive decision to go ahead and go with 4 for this one because I wanted to cover a little bit more width of the stone. It'll cover more along here so that your stone is just a little bit more secure. And since this is meant to be played with and fidgeted with, I definitely want to provide as much security as possible for the pendant. All right, where are we at? We're getting close, we're getting close. All right, so just a little bit more, I would say 3 more, two more, somewhere in there. 2 more on this side. What do we have over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So maybe 14. There's 13. Thanks, Pamela. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We might still need to add one after this, but we're going to kind of measure it out and see. I'm going to shorten it just a little bit. All right, so we're going to see if this is enough for our project. So I'm going to just, I do like to go in and take a pair of nylon jaw pliers and go through here and just kind of flatten everything. I just think it looks a little bit better that way. It makes everything feel more secure in my opinion too. I did go a little wider as I went up. I don't know if you guys see that. It's not very noticeable, but it definitely exists. All right, so we're gonna take our entire weave and we're gonna go over just a round mandrel, just literally anything round that's around the same size as your stone. And we're gonna see if this is the right size. It looks like it's probably, maybe I can do one more. Probably do one more. Okay. So we're just gonna straighten that out. The last one, I don't overlap. I just leave this out. So we'll just, and I also want to make it a little bit shorter because it's shorter on this side, and those are gonna like line up together. So I want them to be as even as possible. Oh, thank you, Lynn. All right, so a little bit shorter. I'll go ahead and clamp that down. Scooch. Same thing on the other side. Hopefully that doesn't make it too much. If it does, we'll just take it off. It's not the end of the world. All right. All right. Okay, and again, I always like to measure twice, cut once, because otherwise you might have a bad time. So we're gonna line these up. I feel like I might have gone a little big. Yeah, probably. Maybe not. I don't know. I think it depends on how this is going to frame up. But also we're going to have bail wires coming in here, so that might make a difference too. I'm going to bend this up and just kind of see how it lines up. So where these two meet, I'm folding up as tightly as possible. Like that. Just check and see if this is gonna fit like I would like it to. Yeah, I think that's gonna fit nicely. I am gonna go in here and actually give myself a little bit more room to work. So I'm just going to lay this down a little bit and then give a bend. Here, we'll see again where that puts us. Perfect. Now I'm going to go in here very carefully and we're going to cut these wires. I don't want them to stick out over here, but I don't want them so short that they don't clamp down. So I try and get them across like 3 out of 4 of those base wires, basically. Like that. And then I just squish them down. Same thing on the other side. For the bail. So what we're going to do is what I have dubbed a ribbon setting bail, which means we are going to incorporate a ribbon setting, and I think I have an example of a ribbon setting. I do have a tutorial on ribbon settings here on the channel, but this is just kind of a quick example. Not a great example, but a quick example of what a ribbon setting looks like. This one has been bent all to heck. But that is what a ribbon setting looks like. And we're going to incorporate that so we can have a faceted stone in the bail of our piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 5-inch piece of half round wire. You can do this with round wire if you're using, if you don't have half round wire. You can take like 2 26 gauge pieces and just like line them up side by side and do basically exactly what I'm doing, just with 2 like side by side 26 gauge pieces of wire. And if you are interested in me doing a tutorial on that, please feel free to comment on this video in the actual comment section, not in the live stream comment section. So I'll have a reminder that that's something that you all are interested in. But anyway, so I'm going to find the front of my piece. I'm going to consider this side to be the front because the wires will cover more. They come further onto the front, but it doesn't honestly matter. So what I'm going to do is take that 5-inch wire, bend it flat side in half, and I'm going to kind of straddle it over those 8 bail wires there. And I'm going to make sure that they are all nice and flush together. So nice and flat. We can actually take our flat nose pliers if we want and go in here and just make sure that they'll all line up nice and neat like that. And I'm going to make sure they're all nice and flat. I'm going to take one side, flat side in, and I'm going to push it through and then take it out the side so that we have the round side out and the flat side towards our work. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, going around the back. Again, flat side toward my work the entire time. Push toward the front and pull that wire towards the front like that. This is what it looks like from the back and the front, right? Hey Catalina, how are you? And then we're gonna gently kind of push those wires side by side as best we can. So that they are in line with all of our other bail wires. And then what I like to do, after I kind of gently push them down, is take my flat nose pliers and go in here and just very gently, oh my goodness, so sorry guys, very gently push down right here so that it lays nice and flat on top of all of those other wires, just like that. Okay. All right, so now that I have that, I'm gonna take my 10-inch piece of half round wire. I'm going to take the tip of it, go to the back of my piece, and I'm going to kind of shove the tip of that in between those 8 wires. And I'm going to pinch it there. I'm going to go toward myself and around all 10 of those wires 3 times, like that. Oh my gosh, that is loud and scary. Sorry. And then I'm just kind of going to use my index finger to just make sure that that's as down as it possibly can be. And then we'll take our back 3 wires, square wires, and I'm going to push them to either side. Make sure I have the right one. There we go. So I've got my back 3 leaving that front square wire and the half round sticking straight up, and then we're going to go to the other side, same thing with those 3 wires. We're going to push those straight down as well, like that. So we've got our back 3 to the right and left, and just those front 2 are on their own. I enjoy pulling this back so it's just 3, and then going in between here. I don't know why I find that to work a little better. It doesn't matter if you continue from underneath. I think I like it that way because it gives me 3 base wires here, or 3 rotations on this side and 3 rotations on this side for all of the wires, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so I'm going to continue my rotations around just those 2 squares and 2 half rounds. And then I'm going to scooch them down. So they're like this. Take those half round wires, bend them straight up like this. And then we're gonna start our ribbon setting. So I'm gonna open my 2 square wires into a V. You said that was loud and scary right after my dog barked. That's funny. Yes, so if the sphere is larger, just do the weave longer. And then if it's a really big sphere, I would add more width, more base wires so that it's wider, but you can also make your loops a little bit wider as well to kind of cover more surface of your sphere. Yeah. Okay. So this kind of involves a little bit of eyeballing. But basically you're going to create a small diamond that is a little more narrow than your facet. This is entirely going to be dependent on the size of your facet as well as the size of your tools. So a little bit of eyeballing here is going to have to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and create my little diamond here. by just going one way and then going straight up. Same thing on the other side. And then straight up. This can take a little bit of adjusting, but it's okay. You just want to make sure they're as even as you can get them and that it's in a straight line, like a little perfume bottle. So now we're going to take our facet and you're just going to drop it in that little diamond spot. Then I like to spread my half round wires just a little bit. I'm going to take my tweezer nose pliers. I'm going to go across gently. You can stay relatively centered. You don't have to like plan for it going like, how do I draw it? Hold on. I want to show you guys what I mean. When I first learned this, I found myself kind of fixating on so this is the top of your facet, right? You got your wires right here and then your two wires over here, right? And you got your little diamond underneath, right? You got your facet sitting here. I found myself kind of fixating on making this like shape with my pliers over top of this when I realized that you can actually just basically take your half round wire and just go basically straight across, right? I still kind of aim a little bit to the left and the right so there's space in between, but don't get overwhelmed with this idea that it needs to be laid down perfect the first time, because that is just not necessary. So all that being said, it looks like a little watch. I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to go just across the other side. So I'm like a little bit further than the other side. And I'm going to push down a little bit, turn my pliers, and then push a little bit more. All right, like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Go across, and then just kind of like nestle it down in there, and then clamp. All right. And as you can see, it's going straight across the middle, but that's okay. How do you get your wire so straight? I buy wire and it comes wrapped in a circle, and so using it and manipulating it is so hard because it has a curve in it. Well, that can have a couple of different factors. It depends on the kind of wire that you're using. If you're using dead soft wire, which is what I use, it's easier to straighten out. If you're just using like kind of run-of-the-mill craft wire that you would get in a craft store, the tamper of that wire is less reliable, so you don't necessarily know what you're gonna get. But if it's a harder wire, it's going to be more difficult to straighten because it's going to have more spring to it. that being said, a good pair of nylon jaw pliers can go a long way as far as straightening wire is concerned. You can just take a pair of regular pliers on one end and then take your nylon jaw pliers, and I'm just pulling with these pliers and pull, and that can help straighten your wire out. But also, as you get more and more practice with wire wrapping, you will build up calluses on your hands, and you'll be more able to just straighten the wire just with your fingers. Okay, so I'm gonna undo this so that I can explain what I'm doing. So now I'm taking my back wire here, the one that was going around everything, taking that back wire, I'm going to go across the back of that stone, and I'm going to lay it down snugly against the top, continuing that weave. I'm just going to do 2 rotations like that. And then I can take my pliers and kind of push down a little bit. Then I'm going to take those half round wires, I'm going to pull up, straight up. And I'm going to just do 2 rotations around just the square wires. This is what I have dubbed a basket weave bail. It's not necessary, I just really like the aesthetic of it. I just 2 rotations around all 4 of them, straight up, 2 rotations around 2 of them. Notice when I'm working with a half round wire, I turn my work and not my wire. You won't see me doing this number with half round wire because that's how you get it really twisted. I'm going to lay that flat back down. I'm taking my flat nose pliers. I'm going just on the outside of that weave that those rotations I just did. I'm going to squish them down. I'm going to do 2 more. Straight up. Yes, the spring is ingrained into the wire, but nylon pliers will invest to help my fingers. Yeah, of course, of course. Make sure when you buy wire, you don't get spring hard wire. Don't get hard wire. Copper and dead soft are the words you're going to look for. And when it comes to craft wire, just try and get copper core wire, even though usually you're not going to have a listed like hardness. All right, so this is going to be my last section right here, so I'm going to go ahead and flatten those down. I'm going to do 1 single rotation, right? And then I'm going to lift up, take my pliers. I always cut flush side when you use flush cutters. Cut the flush side toward your work to get a nice clean cut. Flush side toward my work. I'm holding my pieces so I don't blind myself with wires. Cut. Take my flat nose pliers, lay those little pieces down just like that. And then I'm going to continue and do 4 rotations. And then I'm going to cut across the back here. Like that. Lay that down. And then I'm going to do a 90-degree angle. Like that. You're so welcome, Erica. All right. So you can do this now, but it's going to tighten again when you close your bail. But what I like to do, and if you don't have nails, best of luck. I don't know. This is just how I do it. But I just take the corner of my nail and push out to either side. Not too far because we don't want our stone to pop out, but I just push out to either side. And then you have your stone showcased. I'm using my index finger to kind of provide some resistance, and I'm bending everything over and into my bezel. See how it closed up a little bit more? It's because of that bend. There we go. All right. I'm going to bend these straight up so they're out of my way, and then tickle the little guy because it's just habit at this point. This looks like a little dude and he needs to be tickled. Anyway, so I'm going to pull these wires straight forward, nice and tight, and then I'm going to fold them back over like this. Pull out, and then straight back. Yay! And then on the back, you're just going to cut just enough to where you can tuck under the back. I would recommend, for your sanity, to cut longer rather than shorter, because you'll be more grateful to have wire to cut off than to not have enough wire to fold over. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And then I'm going to fold these over. Just like that. Yay! Yes, that does work, Pamela. You are correct. I do find it a little more cumbersome, but it does work. All right, so now it's the fun part, the part that stresses me out most. We're gonna go ahead and start making our frame. Because this is not a regular cabochon and it's round on both sides, we're not going to fold in all the way, but nevertheless, I like to take my flat nose pliers and line them up with just the outer edge of my base wires here, and fold in. I try and grab all three of those and fold in. And then I just kind of grab all those sections of 3 wires. I don't squeeze too much when I'm going over these weaves. Basically, I just kind of use my plier as like resistance so that I can kind of take the bottom jaw and just kind of hook up in there and guide it rather than grab and twist. So you don't want to like grab it really hard and then twist up. You just want to like gently hook it and guide it. There's a lot of trust the processing going on in this moment, but please just trust the process in this moment. I'm just kind of using my thumb to guide those in while I don't have anything resisting it on the inside of the piece just yet. All right, now I'm going to add my stone. The goal is to have the same amount of the stone sticking out on this side as is sticking out on the other side. And now we're going to kind of go in here and kind of roll our weave over top of the stone. I'm using just the outer edge of my pliers. And we're just going to kind of keep going around and tightening in a circle. Let's see if we can bend in here. This is like literally the most stressful part of this. It's just kind of squeezing everything down. Do the same thing over here. I will say, when you're doing this with like a regular cabochon, this is a lot less stressful. Worrying about the sanity of people working with wire. I mean, it's kind of the reality though, you know? Oh, my hand is angry at me. I wonder if we can just like roll this. Yeah, I think that might actually work. It's like tightening the weave every time. I forgot this happened the other day. That's why I've been putting this pendant off. Because it like gives me cramps right in here. I need a hand massage. Keep doing it this way while I stretch my hand out. Stones in there, so that's exciting. But again, you see how this is like kind of drooping more. We want this to be tight enough to where it doesn't have all this play. I mean, as exciting as it would be to feel like that was 100% secure, it would be quite the fidget spinner, but we don't want it to fidget that much. Oh, you know what? I wonder. There goes my phone. I'm going to use this let's see if I can put my little bowl here underneath. So I've just taken a little bowl right? It's like around the same size, right? So it just fit right here. And I'm putting it underneath here with a cloth so that I can use my burnishing tool to hopefully save my hand some pressure, and I can go in here and push everything down, because that's ultimately the goal, is we want to push that weave down as much as possible so that our stone is fully secure. That is such a pretty bail. I think the ribbon bail is my new favorite. Oh, thanks. I want to say it's the first, this is the first YouTube video I've had with the ribbon bail. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. It's definitely making a difference, which is awesome. We love that. Definitely making progress, guys. Making progress. I think this is like the most long-winded part of doing these, is like making sure they're like all the way secured. That's definitely helpful. Ooh, I think this is like definitely the most effective move that I've found thus far, is taking these nylon jaw pliers and just kind of pushing it in as much as possible. There we go. Yeah. Dim's the goods. All right. Perfect. I love that. I love that for us. I love that for this live stream video. All right. There we go. Look at that. Much less play. There's still a little play, but it's even now. We love that. Okay. So I can mess with that later, if need be. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take this center wire here, and I'm going to twist it. This will help with security and my sanity when sending something like this out. I'm going to go ahead and flatten those to the side of my pendant. So I'm going to go across the face here. Try and keep them all in line with each other. And then I'm going to use my thumb to kind of guide it back. And then make a little loop like that. And then back to the back of our pendant. There we go. Like that. And then we'll go ahead, cut. That. We're basically going to do the same thing on the other side. That way we've got that extra little bit of pressure keeping our stone in. Do the same thing over here. I'm glad you're pleased, Renz. On this side, again, when I'm pulling this up, I want you guys to notice that I'm not clamping down. There's a reason for that. I don't want to mar that wire. Because it is like our finished piece wire. I just want it out of the way so I can tuck this wire underneath. Go. And there she is. I don't know how, if you guys can see how nice and spinny it is on screen. If you use a material that can go in a tumbler, worth looking up before doing so. I highly recommend for pieces like this to put them in a tumbler for a little bit to work harden that wire so that it provides a little more integrity to help keep your stone in because it is made to be loose enough to spin. you really want to make sure that that wire is going to stay as best as it possibly can. So keep that in mind as well. But there you have it. That's here we are. Renz, I hope that you are pleased with your piece. If I remember correctly, you said don't oxidize this, correct? Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And now you can forever go back on YouTube and watch it get made, you know, for the entirety, the rest of the existence of this channel. So that's exciting. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Renz, for supporting this channel by purchasing a pendant from me. I appreciate you. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. I really hope somebody learned something, even if you end up not succeeding in creating a fidget spinner, which is, you know, it happens. Hopefully you learned the Pennsylvania grain weave, or a ribbon setting bale, or even just like finishing a bale. Hopefully you learned something from this video, and if you would like to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you want to be notified when I go live, make sure you hit the bell. And that's it. Thank you guys again for hanging out with me, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.